but I'm fine now.
Oh,
Everything's gone well since then, so
okay. And your Zoom problem
it's
solved
shine.
now?
Well, it appeared once they'd done whatever they did in the back office, I've got it back. So yeah, but the one where
Okay.
people can't see me, if somebody comes in, no, that's still people are working on. They can't find out what the
Yeah.
problem is.
Okay.
We'll soon discover. I've got to be careful today because if
Yeah.
I've started to share and somebody comes in, they're not going to see any
Mm-hmm.
of my experiments. So that's
Okay.
going to be an interesting one. But we'll
Yeah.
take it as it goes. We'll see how we do
Yep.
it.
Yep.
But
Yep.
have a
Okay.
good
Best of luck.
afternoon. Yeah.
Thank
Shayna
you.
time. Bye for now.
Share time. Bye bye. Take care.
Right, we will be starting in about 6 minutes. So grab your coffee and we'll see who comes to class. Hi, Javal.
Hi, Sue. Just checking
Hi.
if there's
No,
work.
great. No, that's fine. It actually helps because I have a problem. They're busy working on it. They can't seem to find out why. If I'm sharing my screen and there's nobody in my class because I'm live streaming and I need to start on time, and somebody comes into my class, my picture disappears. And then if I'm trying to show things, I don't know where I'm showing because I can't see myself on the screen at all. It only happens once I've started to share and we are live streaming. So I'm not sure where the problem lies, but it makes it incredibly difficult for me to be able to show to show people. I've either got to stop sharing, show something, then restart sharing again. I've tried relaunching, none of it works.
Yeah,
So
maybe. Yeah,
if one
so
person is if one person's in the class, no problem. But it's when there's nobody in class to start. Their picture takes my place, and then that's the only person in class that shows.
can you put the spotlight on yourself?
No, I've always had somebody else help me with that. Where do I find Spotlight?
So if you see your photo right now on the
Mm,
screen, you're
mm,
talking, just
mm.
there are dots on the top
Yeah,
right.
yeah. And I could spotlight, pin, hide, self view, edit profile. It doesn't allow me to spotlight. I've got mute, stop videoing, choose virtual background, pin, hide self, edit profile, and rename.
Okay, let's do this. I think this is already live streaming. So
Yes, it
let's
is. Mm-hmm.
maybe we can ask in the support channel.
Other people might want to know for when they do some live streaming as well. So people can learn with that. I've got a single person coming into this particular class, but I don't quite know what happened with the two, whether anybody else booked somewhere else. But we'll.
It was because on the front end it showed two, but on the back end there was only one class. So I think
Okay, so it would have just filtered together. No, that's great. But my late night ones, my 12 o'clock ones, I sometimes do live stream by myself and I just do my thing and people pop in and out, particularly the live learners, they pop in and out. So we inevitably have somebody in and out of the class or in the class for quite a long time.
I've seen I see two people have signed up for this class. So
There comes Donna. All right, great. Here comes Donna. Let's just wait for Donna to come in. Hi, Donna. Welcome to class. Lovely to have you in class with me. Where are you from? Hi. Oh, can you press your space bar so that you can talk? You're muted at the moment.
California.
California. Oh, lovely. Yes. Hi. Nice to have you in class. So it's the same time as me, midnight, or is it a bit earlier?
No, it's 9 o'clock.
Oh, okay. So you've got a reasonable time. That's awesome. I'm midday here in Australia. So we have a different time zone. Wow. Let's see. I'm hoping that today you will be able to learn some interesting things to do, not only with children, you can actually do them with adults as well. Sometimes when we have a couple of people over, they always say, "What have you been working on?" And then I'll tell them, and they say, "Well, can't we try?" And then I let them have a go, and they get very competitive as to seeing who can do what. So these can be used as fun for a lot of people and for yourself as well. So let's have a look. I'm going to start sharing my screen with you. And I'm hoping that it's going to stay as there we go. Right. Today we're doing simple experiments with your grandkids. Do you have grandchildren?
Yes.
What ages are they?
3 and 8.
3 and 8. Oh, they're going to love some of these experiments. They really are. I've got a 2.5-year-old and he loves doing them. I do it virtually with him because he's in South Africa and dad gets all the things ready and I do it at my side and he does it on his side. And there are all these squeals and shouts as we do it. And it's great fun to do. I also have a 9-year-old granddaughter and then some step grandchildren that go up to about 14. So they all enjoy trying out my experiments. So we're going to be able to learn today as it's just the two of us and Deval. Deval will come and go. Deval is, in fact, my boss. She's very nicely coming to class to just see how things are going. So welcome, Deval. Great to have you with us. And so she may come and go depending on what she needs to do. So please keep your microphone on, then we can interact as we go. If you want to request a recording, you can ask it at help@getsetup.io. And anybody who's joining by live streaming, the very best way to join us, of course, is to come and register so that you can actually take part in the class. If I mention any products or things, it's not because we paid for it. We get no payment for anything. It's just what I use. A little bit about me. I live in Perth, Australia. I've been an educator for 44 years, but what I love about Get Set Up is I don't educate, I share. I share ideas, I share thoughts, I share things that I have learned along the way, and it is such a lovely way of being able to communicate with others and to actually share ideas with them. I've learned so many things from the learners that are in my class as well. So it's been really awesome. I enjoy creating and making, especially puzzles, and I have a love of animals. That's why I do the African animals and Australian animals series. And of course, being able to share makes it a great time to be a guide. Right, let's have a look at, something interesting appeared at the top of my page. I'm not quite sure what appeared at the top of my page. That's supposed to be the word experiment. And now I have a very interesting word made up of dots and ashes and all sorts of weird things. What we need for our experiments are oil, water, milk, fireworks. We make a fireworks in a jar. We work with balloons and we make gift wrap that has a marbled effect. We are going to make and show you how to make a jellyfish in a bottle. You can make wrapping paper. I'm going to show you how. You can use balloon power. And I have a recipe for a balloon, a bubble that is so strong that you can actually stand inside the bubble. And that is very exciting. The children love it. And these bubbles are strong. They don't just pop as soon as you see them. So they really are creative. And it's such a simple way to make it. But I will be explaining that during the time. All right. Now, what we need are a few glass jars so that people can see through them, a Pyrex dish because it's easier to work with a small flat area, or any small dish that you would. It doesn't have to be see-through. It can be any of your containers you use for cooking. Glass bottles if you need them for height. I also use little glasses. We get dessert in these little glass glasses, and they work wonders. They've even got a little lid on them. So when I'm not using it, I can just put the plastic lid on top, and they fit very comfortably and they work exceptionally well. So those I have. We also use Q-tips and cotton wool balls. And baby oil is clear, but it doesn't work as well as vegetable oil. Vegetable oil lasts longer and is more spectacular than baby oil. You need water, milk, and food coloring. Balloons and washing up liquid is another one we need as well. I've added since the last one. Right. Let's have a look. Hi, Melinda. Lovely to have you in class too. Great to have you with us. Right. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a design, and it's so simple. All you do is you take a jar and you put some vegetable oil into the jar. Then what you do once you've done that is you take a pipette or a straw, anything that water or liquid can go into. I found these at the dollar shop. They were you got 5 or 6 for $1. And so it's very useful. You've got them. And then what you do is put a little bit of water into a jar and add some food coloring to it. Then taking your whatever you're using, straw or pipette, or these are just eyedroppers, you now drop this into the oil. And what happens is at the beginning, it stays on top, then it starts dropping down. And you can add other colors to it. This is my blue one. Let me do a yellow one. Add some yellow ones to it. They turn kind of green in the yellow, so they're quite fun. And you can mix colors together, and then you add as many as you can. You can put your lid back on and you can just swirl it ever so slightly, and you can just keep adding more and more balls to the top, and they fall. Then you can turn them carefully, let them go slowly to the top. There they go. And now when I turn it upside down, they will all start falling down again. But you need to put lots on the top, then a whole lot of them. And the more colors you can put on top, the better. They all start falling down, and they are really awesome. The children love it when they pop eventually and they form a color at the bottom. All you do is decant your oil, leaving that last little bit of residue behind, throw that away, put your oil back in again and start again. And then they end up with really beautiful colors coming and going inside. And the bigger the bubble they make of it, the bigger the bubble falling down. So they can experiment and play with them. They really do enjoy it because the water of the food coloring and the water with the food coloring does not mix with oil. And so you can see the water not mixing by adding food coloring to it. So they then can see that the two things don't mix together until eventually it pops, the little film around the water pops, and it goes into and sinks to the bottom of the oil. But that is a lovely experiment to play with. And it doesn't make a mess. You know, so often we're worried we're going to do a science experiment. How long am I going to be cleaning up afterwards? But one of the things you can always do is to dress your grandchildren up in a dustbin bag, a yellow one or a blue one or a green one. You just cut a little slit at the very top with a slit going down so it fits over the head, 2 little holes for the arms, and now they are dressed in the dustbin bag. And if anything gets on them, it doesn't matter. You wash the dustbin bag, hang it on the line, and it's ready to go. It is so much easier, and then you don't have mom and dad grumping and grousing at you because you have made a mess of some clothes that they are wearing. I even have clothes here that are Granny's clothes, and then it really doesn't matter if they make a mess because Granny can clean those clothes. Right, the second one we do is also such an interesting experiment. All you do is take a little bit of milk and put it at the bottom of a Pyrex dish or any other dish. Just a thin film, you don't need a lot. You then take your same food coloring that you've mixed with water before, and you put all straight food coloring. You can do either. You just put a few drops on top. The first one that you do is you take a Q-tip and you put that Q-tip, you just touch it into some dishwashing liquid, the liquid that you use in the sink for washing up your dishes. We use the dishwasher most of the time, but we do have dishwashing liquid for the odd things that we're using. You just touch it where the color is, that color just explodes across the milk. It becomes like an absolute volcano. It just takes off because it doesn't like the consistency of the dishwashing liquid. That disperses it. So it becomes a spray of color going all over the place. It is really beautiful, very quick. They can do lots of colors. Eventually it goes brown, and it's quite safe to drink because it's just food coloring and milk. But if they don't want to, you haven't wasted too much milk. That's why it's just a little layer at the bottom, and they can practice and play around with it, but they really do enjoy seeing how the colors, and then as the colors explode, they mix with each other as well. So you now get a mixture of other colors. The third experiment that works with the same milk magic effect is to put a little bit of milk at the bottom of a plate and put food coloring all in the same place. So the yellows, the reds, the blues, you just put them all in one spot. You then take some cotton wool bud, put that into the washing up liquid, put it down in the middle of those, and the colors just take off and make an absolute ring of color around the edge, and there's no color left in the center. Because again, it doesn't like the food coloring and it explodes. I mean, the dishwashing liquid, and it explodes. It's gone. So it really is a beautiful effect, and they find that if they maybe swirl their colors a little together so they're a little bit mixed, and then they do it, suddenly you've got a rainbow effect coming out. So they can play around with it, but the fact that as they touch, this thing explodes gives them so many giggles and laughter. They really enjoy it. They enjoy being able to do it. Any questions, Donna or Melinda?
No.
Not at the moment. Okay. Right. Now, this one, you need some warm water with it. So I didn't even bring it with me, but I can explain how to make it. It's fireworks in a glass. What you do is you take 2 clean glasses. You put warm water into one glass until it is 3/4. Oopsie, oops, it's done what I didn't want it to do. I'm trying to move something till it's 3/4 full. Then once it's 3/4 full, you take the other glass and put a few spoonfuls of oil and 4 drops of food coloring, just a few drops of food coloring into it. Now you add different colors of food coloring to the oil. So you'll have blue, you'll have red, you'll have pink, you'll have green, whatever. You just add 4 drops of each color. Then taking a fork, you swirl those colors so it becomes a mixture of colors swirling around in there. And then you pour it into a glass of the rest of the glass of warm water, and suddenly these things start exploding all over, but they're streaks. They're little streaks of color. And this streak goes this way and that streak goes that way. And it looks like a fireworks display. It really is quite amazing how these streaks move around in the water. As soon as the oil touches that water, they just take off because, of course, the water inside the oil finds the other water and just then it goes, away it goes. So it really is a wonderful thing to be able to play with them. Again, very clean, very easy to do, and lots of fun. Only time it's a mess is when they drop the jar that's got the oil in it, which I've had before. But we clean it up and away we go. So those are all using food coloring, oil, milk. It just works, and water, of course. It just works so well. And I give you all of these in my notes so you can go and do them. You don't have to write them down. They come as a handout in the notes. Right. Last Sunday, I was with my granddaughter and my future step-grandchildren. I've got all ages there, from 4 years old up to 13. And I said, we're going to make something. And the older ones kind of said, particularly the boy, no, I think I'll just play on my iPad. I said, sure, no problem. And we started to work. Well, the eyes trailed, and eventually he was there. He was in boots and all after that, doing everything we did. What you do is you get a plate, depending on what size plate you want, and you get them to arrange them around the plate. Now, unfortunately, it's quite difficult to see, but you can see I've arranged them around the plate. Now, you then take just enough water in your pipette to, or if it's a big plate with in a cup, you just put enough water to touch the M&Ms, or I've got Smarties here. Anything that is covered in a color will work. Any sweet that's covered with a colored covering. And you take just a little and you put it into it until it touches the Smarties, which I'm using. I'm just making sure I get it right, because I don't want too much. Last time I put in too much, and it doesn't work as well with too much. So I could have actually done it the other way. It would have worked quicker. Okay, let's put it down. When it's flat, I can see that the water is going in the right directions for everything to get covered in water. You just leave it to stand for a few minutes, and literally within seconds, the color drains off those Smarties, and somehow plates seem to be lower in the center, and it all drains into the center. Last time I did it, I didn't want to show because it moved. So I took a photo of my one, and I'm hoping you're going to be able to see my photo. It's turning itself around. I've got to get it where the light is right. Where's the light right for you to see? No, the light's definitely not right for you. You can see the Smarties, but you can't see the reaction. The reaction is so pretty. I'm hoping that today's reaction you'll be able to see, because I was able to show you the Smarties earlier. And the colors start to come into the center slowly but surely, and the children are fascinated. You can do the experiment a second time, turning the Smarties or M&Ms over, and then of course they eat them after that. But you get a lovely color reaction out of it. It really is beautiful. Now I'm going to try and show you what is happening here, but I am moving it, which is probably not a good idea. Where am I? There. You can see the colors just starting. Oh, I've moved this, and the colors have run. Damn. But it looks exactly the same as the one on the plate. It works every time. And the children are fascinated by that. And then, as I say, they've got a bonus of eating it afterwards. That the reaction is really good. Now, I found this quite difficult to find, but once I found it, it was well worthwhile. You're using shaving cream. Most people use shaving gel these days, so it's quite difficult to find shaving cream. So I eventually found a thing of shaving cream. All you do is take, again, a flat container and put a very, very thin layer of shaving cream across the bottom. Then you take your food coloring and you put drops of food coloring onto the shaving cream. Then with a fork, you draw patterns. So you're now trailing the colors in and out of each other. You draw your patterns to make it, and then taking your paper, whatever size paper you've got that fits inside there, you place it on top, and you leave it just for 10 seconds, not very long. Take it off, and then with a soft tissue or cloth, you wipe it clean. And it doesn't change. There is my first one. It comes out really beautifully. And then you can do a second one using the same thing, brings out a much lighter version. So you end up with a lighter version of it. But you can make really beautiful patterns with it. This was my first experimental one. I've since made some really beautiful paper, which I've wrapped presents in for people. So that's why I haven't got a copy of that, because I decided to use it. It was successful, so I used it. Anything that works gets used in my household. I often have to make again because I'm now using what was my experiment. And it works. You can really make fantastic designs. And depending on how I used a butter knife to make sort of peaks and valleys in my shaving cream. And so that you got this different, some were deep and some were high. And then I ran with my fork through it. And again, it made some peaks and valleys. And as you do that, you can make some beautiful wrapping paper that you can use afterwards. As I say, I now make my own wrapping paper just using this because it's so simple, it's so easy, and I can choose my coloring from my food coloring. I end up with really beautiful things afterwards.
You could probably use a comb too.
Yes. Oh, definitely you could use a comb. Comb would even be better because it's a wider expanse. And also those thin tined ones would make an interesting effect. You could possibly use a fork and a comb and a thin comb and have a whole series of effects in there. But it's a wonderful experiment. And when the children see the paper they've made, they are over the moon. Then they can make something quickly for mom or dad or granny or anybody they want to make for, wrap it up and take it home with their wrapping paper that they've made. They really do enjoy this one. We did it just for Mother's Day we were making. Now, my granddaughter loves this. This is one of her favorite things that I have in my workroom, my office, is to make a jellyfish in a bottle. And it is so simple. You take a little Ziploc bag and you push you open it and you push your fingers with the Ziploc bag showing, not the zip part, the see-through part showing through your fingers like that. You then tie it with either an elastic band or piece of string. Doesn't have to be tied tight. And you cut off the Ziploc section and then just cut yourself about 6 thin strands. And then chop off the rest of the plastic bag. Don't use it. Don't worry that you've chopped off half your bag. That's correct. Because if you put too many pieces hanging down, it doesn't work as well. They get entangled and you can't really see what you're doing. You then put some water into, you open up the little top bubble that you've made. You just open it enough to add a little bit of water to it so that it leaves a bubble of air at the top. And the rest is filled with water. Then you tie it nice and tight and put it into a bottle that has got water in it, and I added blue coloring to it to make it under the sea. Now, in order for you to see, I'm putting on a light because with a light you can see it better. The children can, there's my jellyfish sitting up at the top. Now I can turn my jellyfish this way around and he will turn around. There goes my jellyfish up to the top. And then if I turn it back down again, my jellyfish will turn around and he will come back down again. And my 9-year-old comes in every single time she comes. She spends at least 10 minutes playing with the jellyfish. And when she's bored with playing with the jellyfish, she then goes off to do something else. But it's one of her favorites. And I made one with her as well. She's got one now at her home because she used to love playing with mine. Very easy and simple to make. A lot of fun as well. So the first one I made, I put too many tentacles on it and it didn't turn as well. So I just took it back out, chopped off some of the tentacles, put it back in again. It worked better. Also, don't use the plastic that's too thin. I thought I was being clever. I got some really thin plastic I had. Oh boy, I ended up with thin plastic stuck to so many things and it didn't work. So I've really found that a Ziploc bag is the best strength of plastic to use. But I'm sure you could also use an old bag that you brought your groceries home in as well. That would work as well. I just like the see-through look because a jellyfish is kind of see-through. And so you get the see-through look with it. Any questions? Okay, right. Now, balloon magic. there are one or two things we need to remember with balloon magic. Now, I'm going to do one experiment with you that isn't on here. It's very quick, very easy, and wonderful for the children. You take a piece of string and you tie it, take a long piece of string, it must be a long piece, tie it onto, it can be a door handle, it can be something up near the sky that you can hang it on, just tie it onto something quite tightly. You then bring it down and you thread it through a straw. You then take a balloon, and I don't want to lose this, blow up your balloon. I'm at the end of the string. Here's the short end of the string. I now pull my string tight. Nice. My dog's on his way out. He knows what's going to happen. And I let go. And this balloon shoots to the end of your string. The length of the string depends on how far it will go. The bigger you've blown your balloon, obviously, it also works very well. It's all right, Bear, you can come back. Shame my dog decided he doesn't like that sound and he disappears. As soon as he sees me with that balloon, he's gone. The second experiment we're going to do is where you take some vinegar and you've put vinegar in the bottom of your bottle, about a third of a bottle. You can go a little bit more if you like. Don't go too high because and you add about 3 teaspoons of bicarbonate of soda to it, or baking soda, into your balloon. You then open up the entrance to the balloon and put it very securely over your bottle. Make sure it is secure. If it's not, you end up with bicarb, fizzing stuff all over the place. I've done it many a time when I haven't secured it properly. So once it's properly secured, I'm still going to hold it because I'm inside and I really don't want to mess. I'm holding on to my balloon so that it doesn't come off. But if you put it on firmly, it won't come off. And then you tip your balloon into your bottle. There it goes. There goes my balloon. My balloon is growing. The bicarb is busy fluffing away and the balloon is growing and growing and growing. So now you've got a really big balloon that you are busy making, and slowly it'll start to, there we are. There goes my balloon. I now have a fully inflated balloon made with the bicarb and the vinegar. The children love to see this as an experiment, and it blows it up really well and it stays fully blown until you take it off. So it really lasts a long time and it's a lot of fun to see and do. So that is great fun with all ages. My almost 3-year-old thinks this is the best of all the experiments. He really loves that one. And he's got his balloon. So very, very simple. Just vinegar, baking soda or bicarb, and a balloon. Everything you need to make a really awesome. Oh, my balloon's still growing. It's taking off over here next to me. All right. Any questions on this one?
No?
Okay, right. Let's continue. Now, this one is so interesting. The children find it fascinating. You take a balloon and you then place a small coin, the smallest coin you've got, into the neck of the balloon. And you've got to kind of work it in until it is inside the balloon. Once it's inside the balloon, you blow up your balloon. Choose a balloon that you can kind of see through because they love to see the coin. And then you start to spin your balloon like this. Let me blow this one up. Actually, I've got time to put a coin in. Let me put a little coin in it so that we can actually do it. There's a little coin. Got a little coin to put inside. There we go. Doesn't take too long to persuade the coin to go all the way in. Come on, all the way in. Go on, you're nearly there. Come on, down, 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 into the balloon. Come on, coin. There, now the coin is inside. You can see the coin inside the balloon. Now, unfortunately, this doesn't last long because you break down the atoms in the balloon and it will pop. But while it's not popped, you spin it. And with that, you see the coin starts to spin. And round and round and round goes my coin. I can see my coin going round inside. And then if you try and throw the balloon to the other person, normally a balloon would float up and down. It doesn't. It has a life of its own. It'll go in different directions because of the coin that you've got at the bottom of your balloon. You hear the sound as it's spinning inside here. And it's a fun exercise for them to do. They really enjoy seeing it, and they enjoy seeing how eventually, with the air being allowed out, being broken up, it pops. If it touches the ground, it's gone. It pops immediately. But if you've got a few balloons, it's a fun one to do. Any questions? Okay, right. Now, this to me is the best one of all. What we do is we do bubble magic. You take a liter of water, or a fifth of a gallon of hot water, and a cup of good quality dishwashing liquid. It mustn't be the cheap and cheerful because it doesn't last as well. It's worth spending your money on a good quality one. And you put 4 tablespoons of that, put a cup of that in, and 4 tablespoons of glycerine. And that makes the bubble thick and lasting. This recipe was given out by a gentleman who is a world-renowned bubble maker. He can make bubbles that 5 and 10 people can stand in. He took 10 years to hone his craft. And he makes the most amazing bubbles. Once you've made it, let it stand for a while. If you can let it stand overnight, it's even better, but just an hour or two. So if you make it before the children come, it's awesome. There are many different things you can do with it. You can make a shape, such as this one that I've made, and you can run this through your washing up liquid. And it makes a square bubble. Out of here comes a square bubble. It looks so interesting as it comes out. It just changes shape after that, but just as it's coming out, you've got a square bubble. You can use any piece of kitchen equipment to put through and then blow on. As long as it's got holes in it, the bubbles will come out. You can take a baking tray, put some of the mixture in the base of the baking tray, and then give them a straw. They blow into the straw, and instead of the bubbles going all over the place, it comes out like lava. It gets bigger and bigger and stays in a heap of bubbles. And then it only stops being made once the straw is no longer touching the bottom anymore, because their nose is already in the bubbles. But they don't mind. They really enjoy it. You can take an old bottle and cut it, and then just make yourself a little whole piece. What I do around that is I put some masking tape, because the edge of the bottle, when you've cut it, the plastic bottle can be quite sharp. So I just cover that, and that then makes for a beautiful blowing balloon. And you just... of course, you're blowing into the small end of the bottle, so it's easy to blow, but big bubbles are coming out of it, and they enjoy that too. You can also put those old shells that you used to have sand in or what have you. You can put some of their liquid in there. You put your whole lot in to start. You can always decant it back into something else, and take a hula hoop. You get them to stand in the middle of the hula hoop. You dunk the hula hoop in the liquid and you bring your hula hoop up, and it makes a huge bubble that goes all the way around them. And they're standing in a bubble. They think it is amazing to stand in the bubble. They really enjoy it. You can also make a very simple and very easy. Oh, where did I put that one? I left it in the bathroom. Sorry. Take 2 straws, take your string. And what I did was I put my string in through the top round and I joined the string together. So it held the 2 straws together very nicely. And then with those 2 straws, you dunk them into the liquid mixture you've made, your balloon mixture, and then the children can run with them. They can hold just one end of it and run with it, and the big balloons go behind, or they can hold it above their head with 2 and run, and then the air comes through and big bubbles come out. They really enjoy it. Usually it's one big long bubble that comes out. You can make a longer one with long sticks, and then a 1 meter across at the top and a 1.2 meter hanging down. So it's quite big. You dunk that in, and then you just move your big sticks around, and you end up with these sort of bubbles that this little boy here has got. I have seen some amazing shapes that have come out of these bubble strings that we have. And they work really, really well. They make for such a fun way of creating. Do you think your grandchildren would be interested in that, Donna?
Oh, definitely.
Aha, good. Because they are and you can use anything to try it with. You can find anything that's got a hole in it and blow through that and see what comes out. You can use the old wands that you've got from the cheap and cheerful bubble mix you buy at the dollar store. You can use those wands again. And then instead of, now the children are used to these piddly little bubbles coming out. Now they do it with your mix, and suddenly they've got these enormous bubbles that are coming out, and they last. They don't pop as soon as they come out. They actually have quite a bit of life attached to them. And so the children really enjoy it, and they can make big bubbles. I think that's the excitement and the enjoyment, is to make these big, big bubbles. Now, I want to try something that I haven't tried before. I'm going to stop sharing for a second, and I'm going to share a picture from the YouTube. I have made it. I've made one of these. These are called exploding popsicle sticks. And you just join your popsicle sticks together. I will send how to do it if you're interested. You join your popsicle sticks so that one is over, one is under, one is over, one is under. Basically, you're weaving. And you weave them together, and you can weave as long as you like. Now, I want to show you what happens when you move one of those sticks. Now, I'm hoping this is going to work. So I'm going to share this one. Let's see. If I share this one and I share this, it becomes a full screen. Oh, where's it gone? What's that? Get rid of that. And let's see if you can see what's happening here. I don't know. Can you hear? He takes the first one out, pulls one out. So you have your exploding popsicle sticks. And I think it is absolutely awesome. They just take off and they're gone. So it takes them a long time to build it, but the fun of seeing these popsicle sticks it's probably like the domino effect, basically.
Because they love doing that.
Yeah. So now we've got the popsicle way of doing it. Now, another way you can do your dominoes is to take a popsicle stick and take 2, let me see if I've got them here. Yeah, I do. Take 2 pegs, and you put a peg on each end, or it doesn't have to be quite near, so close to the end. It can be sort of let's do it about there, nice and firm, and about there, nice and firm. Now, this is your domino. So they make a whole lot of these. And now they put them standing up, and they push one, and then it sends the whole lot down. And then you can do straight, or you can ask them to see if they can try and curve it. Now they've got to work out where, when that comes down, one piece of it has to touch the next one in order to keep it moving and rolling. And you can even go up slightly and down slightly. They can make an amazing thing. And it's slightly bigger than your dominoes and very colorful. So they can do the domino effect like this. It works beautifully. It really does. So there are lots of really good experiments that you can do and have fun with them and be able to play. So I hope you found some things that you like, Donna.
Oh, yeah. I'm just trying to remember things.
Well, don't worry. They come in your newsletter. I send you an email now, and all how to do them and what they are comes with it. So the only one that you don't get at the moment is the sticks. I will quickly make that as an extra an extra sheet and include it as well, the exploding sticks, because they are such fun to do. But yeah, so thank you very much, Melinda, for being in class with us again. Melinda's often in my class. And Donna, lovely to have you in class
thank
too.
You.
It's great to see you. And if you're into the sort of crafty things, there are lots and lots of ideas. I started doing mainly for children, and then I got a request to do for adults, mainly adults and a little children. So I've got two running. One is the adult called Me Time, where you use toilet rolls and you make the most incredible creations with those flowers and all sorts.
Mm-hmm.
And if there are a lot of people who are a bit nervous of using toilet rolls. They say it's not clean. What you do, you put it in the oven for 20 minutes at the lowest heat. You stand them all up on a baking tray. They are all 100% sanitized when they come out. And now you can use them. So they're perfect. So we make the most amazing creations with toilet rolls. I also do make creations and things to use in the house with popsicle sticks and pegs, and also one with paper and tin cans. And they can be used for both. You can downscale it for children and keep it upscaled for yourself. So there's so many really nice things to do. So if you're interested, have a look around. They should by next week, we should have some of May up. They've got a new way now. You can actually type in my name, and the ones for this week will all show, and you'll be able to see what I'm doing on a week and when I'm doing them.
All right.
So I look forward to seeing you again in a class. And
thank you very much.
Thanks, Melinda, for being here too. Have excellent. Thanks so much. Bye for now.